Today I just wanted to share 3 stories from Surah Al-Baqarah, and the reason I'm sharing 3 stories at one time is because these stories appear one after the other. From ayah number 258 onwards, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Allah says, Alam tara ila alladhi haja Ibrahim fi rabbihi an atahu Allahul mulk. Have you not turned your attention, your vision, towards the one who argued with Abraham about his Lord because Allah had given him kingship? So this is a king here, right? Allah gave him kingship, and he chose to use this, position to become arrogant and argue with Abraham about his Lord. And of course, in a previous ayah, we are told that Allah gives kingship to whomever He wishes. So kingship is from Allah. Dominion and power is from Allah, and He gives it to people, right? So what the people choose to do with it now, is that some choose to be arrogant, and this is one of them. إِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّيَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ. When Abraham said to him, my Lord is the one who gives life and death. قَالَ أَنَّ يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ. The king said, I am the one who gives life and death. So he's been extremely arrogant now. He's speaking about his ability to make decisions, to spare people's lives and to take people's lives as a king. Right? This is what he's showing off and being arrogant and saying here now. So let's see what Abraham said to him. قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب. So Abraham said, Allah is the one who caused the sun to rise in the east. Will you now cause it to rise in the west? فَبُتِّهَا الَّذِي كَفَرَ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. And so was the disbeliever confounded. So he had no answer back. He had nothing to say to that. And Allah does not guide a wrongdoing people. So it can easily be demonstrated that those who argue about the truth which is presented to them about Allah, that they are on complete folly. All you have to do is ask them questions. Those who reject the truth, those who go against the truth about Allah, ask them simple questions and they will be confounded. And I see this all the time, I can give examples. Those who say that God is a man and, God is tree and all these things people say about God. You ask them simple questions, they are confounded. And Allah does not guide a wrongdoing people. This is another insight, that people who are arrogant and persistent upon wrongdoing, the guidance of Allah doesn't come to them. So therefore, this is not a quality that we should aspire to, arrogance and wrongdoing. Right, let's move on to the other story now. أَوْ كَالَّذِي مَرَّ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ وَهِيَ خَاوِيَةٌ عَلَى عُرُوشِهَا. Or take the example of the man who came upon a town, a hamlet, that was in ruin up to its roofs. So this is a ghost town, a dead town, right? All the people are dead, and all the buildings are disheveled and whatnot. قَالَ أَنَّ يُحْيِي هَذِهِ اللَّهُ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. And he said, how could Allah bring back this town to life after its death? So he's seeing the ruin around him, the destruction, the death all around him, and he's questioning Allah now. How could the Most High, how could Allah bring back this place after its death? فَأَمَاتَهُ اللَّهُ مِئَةَ عَامٍ ثُمَّ بَعَثَهُ. So right there and then, after he asked this question, Allah caused him to die for 100 years, and then brought him back. He resurrected him. So this was a response, an instant response from Allah, that he died. Right? قَالَ كَمْ لَبِثْتَ. Allah said to him, after he raised him back to life after 100 years, how long have you tarried? How long have you been gone? قَالَ لَبِثْتُ يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْدَ يَوْمٍ. The man said, I have tarried for a day or part of a day. So clearly, this man didn't perceive the passage of time. He was dead for 100 years, and what he said? He has been gone for a day or part of a day. So this tells us that we are unconscious in that state of death, right? And we are resurrected. When we are resurrected, we do not perceive the passage of time. We think it's just a day or part of a day that we were gone, right? It's similar to sleeping, but this man was gone for 100 years. Allah said to him, Allah said to him, nay, You have been dead, you have been gone for 100 years. فَانْظُرْ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِكَ وَشَرَابِكَ لَمْ يَتَسَنَّ. So look at your food and your drink. They have not aged one bit. Right? They have not become stale, they have not changed, they have not aged. So, food is always the first thing to spoil. Right? And Allah pointed out to him first that look at your food and your drink, that it has not aged in its 100 years. وَانْظُرْ إِلَىٰ حِمَارِكَ وَلِنَجْعَلَكَ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ. And look towards your donkey. Right? So the donkey is mentioned here, and we get to discover that the donkey also died. Right? This is the donkey that he was riding on when he made this statement, questioning Allah's ability to raise this dead city. Right? Allah tells him to look towards your donkey, and we're going to make you a sign to the people. وَانْظُرْ إِلَى الْعِظَامِ. And look towards its bones, the bones of the donkey. Right? So we find out here that the bones of the donkey are scattered on the ground. Right? This is how decomposed this donkey was after 100 years. That he's just seeing the bones of the donkey scattered on the ground. كَيْفَ نُنْشِزُهَا ثُمَّ نَكْسُوهَا لَحْمًا. How we cause the bones to raise up, assemble, right? And we clothe them with flesh. So this man got to witness a live resurrection of an animal. He saw the bones being raised up, assembled, right? And then he saw the flesh being clothed over the bones. And he saw this donkey being formed before his eyes. Right? This is a great miracle that he was able to witness with his own eyes. Right? After himself being resurrected. Right? And seeing the food that did not change, it did not age. And then he's seeing this donkey being formed, resurrected and assembled and clothed with flesh before his eyes. فَلَمَّ تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ. And when these things had been made clear to him, قَالَ أَعْلَمُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. He said, I know that Allah has power over all things. So he went from saying, قَالَ أَنَّ يُحْيِي هَذِهِ اللَّهُ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. He went from questioning, how could Allah raise this city back to life after his death, to saying, أَعْلَمُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. To saying, I know that Allah has power over all things. So this is Allah we are speaking of. Right? He's the one who caused the sun to rise in the east. Right? And there's no one who can cause it to rise in the west. This is the power of Allah. This is the decree of Allah. And Allah is able to bring back the dead. Right? He's able to resurrect the dead. And this man saw it live in front of his eyes. He saw a donkey being assembled and clothed with flesh and whatnot. He saw that the food, which is usually the first thing to spoil, he saw the food did not age. So Allah has complete control. Allah can preserve the food. And Allah can resurrect this donkey. Right? And Allah can resurrect the man himself after 100 years. Right? This is the power of Allah. And when you really contemplate these stories, you learn about the power of Allah. Let's move on to the other story. When Qala Ibrahimu. And when Abraham said, Rabbi arini kaifa tuhyil mauta. My Lord, show me how you resurrect the dead. Qala awalam tu'min. And Allah said to him, are you not a believer? Qala bala walakin liyatma'inna qalbi. He said yes. He affirmed that yes, he is a believer. But he just wanted to satisfy his heart. Right? He wanted to witness this resurrection so that he can satisfy his heart. Right? And this is Abraham we are talking about. So, what was Allah's response? قَالَ فَخُذْ أَرْبَعَةٍ مِّنَ الطَّيْرِ فَصُرْهُنَّ إِلَيْكَ. Allah told him to take 4 birds. Right? These are animals, birds, and incline them towards yourself. Right? So, Abraham had to sort of domesticate the birds, so that the birds would respond to him. And they would know him, and he would know the birds as well. عَلَى كُلِّ جَبَلٍ مِّنْهُنَّ جُزْءًا. So then Abraham had to cut up the birds. Allah told him to cut up the birds and place them upon 4 hills. Place parts of the birds on 4 different hills. And then call out to them, and you will see them returning to you swiftly. So imagine this, Abraham cut up these birds with his own hands and put them, scattered their parts on 4 different hills, right? And then he had to call to them, right? After the birds were dead and cut up and in pieces on 4 different locations. He had to call to them and they returned to him swiftly. He saw them coming, flying, coming to him swiftly. Imagine that. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. And know that Allah is mighty and wise. So, this is something we are told about Abraham here that I didn't read in the Bible. Right? This is a story about Abraham. And when you really think about this, Abraham said, وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي, that he is asking this so that he may satisfy his heart. So, Abraham had the discussion with the king and all that. And Abraham, he's a prophet of Allah. So, he had this intimate knowledge of the power of Allah. And he saw this resurrection of the birds, with his own eyes. He saw that he cut up the birds. And he was familiar with these birds. And these birds were familiar with him. Such that when he called, these birds would come. And even after he cut them up and scattered them, right, Allah caused the birds to come to him swiftly. So Abraham's heart was satisfied. This is something we learn about Abraham. And this is the same Abraham who saw in a dream that he would sacrifice his son. So we learn about the personality of Abraham here, because Abraham, his heart was satisfied. Right? We know that, he knew the power of Allah, and Allah can bring back, the dead and all of this. So therefore, Abraham was not hesitant in following the commands of Allah. He was a prophet, and he was also first-hand witness to miracles and signs from Allah. So his heart was satisfied, he was content, and he trusted in Allah. Right? So this is the same Abraham who saw in a dream that he would sacrifice his son, and he did not hesitate. Earlier in the surah, we are told this about Abraham. إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When his Lord said to him to submit, right? And aslim is the same root word as Islam. It means to submit your will to the will of the Creator. Right? So when his Lord said to him, aslim, submit, قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. He said, I submit to the Lord of the worlds, to the Lord of all that exists. Right? So Abraham submitted to his Lord, and this was his way. The way of all the prophets was to submit their will to the will of the Creator. Jesus bowed down to his God and said, not as I will, but as you will. Jesus said that I seek not my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. Jesus said, thy will be done. So Jesus submitted his will. He bowed down and was submissive and humble and obeyed the commands of his Creator. And so did Abraham and Moses and all these people. So we also are required to submit to the Creator. And why would you refuse to submit to your Creator, the one who created you? He's the one who gave you life. He's the one who gave you everything. So this is the correct way, to submit to the Creator of the universe and don't join others with him. You hear what Abraham said? Qala aslamtu li rabbil alamin. He said, I submit to the Lord of the worlds. To submit to the Creator of all that exists. Right? To pray to a fellow creature, to worship a fellow creature doesn't make any sense. That person is also subject to the dominion of Allah. Right? If you are praying to someone who bowed down to the Creator and had to pray to the Creator and submit to the Creator, that doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to submit to the Lord of the worlds, the one God. Right? And this is what all the prophets did, and this is what Islam is. So I invite you to Islam, to submit to the Creator of the universe, and in doing so, you will find peace. Because what other way of life is there? Secularism, polytheism, all those other ways of life make no sense. In Islam, you will find peace. You have that personal relationship with your Creator, that direct relationship where you can call out to Him, pray to Him, you worship Him, and you know that He has power over all things. Why worship someone who doesn't have power over all things? That doesn't make any sense. That person can't do anything for you. Right? That person has to be subject to the Creator just like you. right? And the Creator may or may not grant their prayers, right? The Creator is the one in control. He's the one who has full dominion over all things, power over all things. So therefore, He is the one to turn to. He's the one to pray to. The one God, the one Creator of the entire universe. This is the one to pray to. So come to Islam, because this is what makes sense. Right? You have one God, and you pray to Him alone. Assalamu alaikum.